Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People Show. Checking the Pulse of Western Nation, brought to you by X-Cancer. Check them out at xcancer.com. It feels kind of weird to be back in the studio. I've been doing all these gut reactions everywhere else. I did a show with all my kids out front addressing Nebraska's defense. If you missed any of those, go check them out. Just kind of feels funny to be back in here, what is usually my home. All right, this is my reaction to Mickey Joseph's press conference. Now, his answers were short, brief, direct, to the point. A lot of good answers here. I'm not going to overreact to words, though. One way or the other, positive, negative, or in between. Ultimately, what's going to matter the most to me is what happens on that field. But obviously, I feel there's some sort of importance to this press conference, so let's light this candle and get to it. So the first thing he said, he wanted to make it very, very clear, it's about Nebraska football. It's bigger than him or anybody else. All right. He also talked about how this is a fresh start, and they can essentially, starting this week, getting ready for Oklahoma and the rest of the season, start from scratch as a team. He was asked numerous times about the defense, numerous times about tackling, numerous times about how they improve that side of the ball. All right, on defense, he said we want to play faster. They want to tackle more in practice, do tackling in practice, and have the kids holding each other accountable. All right, and when it comes to tackling, he talked about how it's muscle memory. It's just that muscle memory to where you do it over and over without thinking. Okay, he also talked about some of the long runs that were given up. Well, he was asked about them, and in response to how they counter some of those long runs, stop some of those long runs from happening that have been happening against them, in particular against Georgia Southern, he said it's very simple. Being gap sound. I don't know if that sounds familiar to anybody who's ever watched any of my other shows recently, but being gap sound, tackling, playing faster with more energy. All right. When asked about the kids, when asked about the team, he said what he wants to do. He wants to instill confidence in the kids, block out the noise. There's so much going on right now, and these are still young men, okay? And he wants them to come to practice every day ready to get better. He wants them to know that he believes, all right, in relationships. He wants us to know that he believes in relationships with the kids, with the coaches, with the boosters, with people involved in this football program. He believes everything revolves around relationships, and he believes that he has good relationships with most of the kids on the team. And now that he's the head coach, he's going to get to know all the kids even more, not just the receivers or guys on offense. All right, he did say the players are hurting. I mean, this is the guy that sat in their living room, the guy that recruited them, the guy that they committed to play for is no longer here. He did say that they are hurting, but that they've handled it like champs. All right. When asked about what he believes is the number one issue for the team through the first 3 weeks, he said they haven't played well in all three phases. That's talking about offense, defense, special teams, all three phases. That's what makes a football team as a whole, and he wants to get better in each of those three phases. Asked about Coach Osborne, he said yes, he has spoken with Coach Osborne just yesterday. Made the joke that Coach Osborne still talks to him like a 19-year-old, but he wants to speak with Coach Osborne each and every week, and that he has a ton of wisdom, okay? And he believes that's what the plan is to chat with Coach Osborne each and every week going forward. Now, a little bit more about the defense. All right, Chenander's working with the safeties and Travis Fisher more with the corners. And he mentioned, we're probably the only team in the country that doesn't have two defensive back coaches, because safety really is a different position than defensive back. All right, and the NFL teams have a safeties coach and a DB's coach, a cornerbacks coach, I should say, because it really is two separate positions. And so he talked about Travis Fisher. He's got two eyes, but four players he's supposed to be watching at once, and that's really challenging. So Chenander's going to help with the safeties and alleviate some of those things. When asked about a player's previous comments, basically it was stated something to the effect of there's a losing culture and the kids don't know how to win. The players don't know how to win here. Mickey did say, well, it's not a losing culture. In a losing culture, you just don't show up. There's close games. There's hard-fought games. They got to figure out a way to win those games. He also said, I got to educate players on how to interview just a little bit and be interviewed just a little bit better as well. When asked about Oklahoma, I mean, obviously, the rivalry, highly ranked team. People are going to be excited here in Lincoln. He said players are excited to play the number 6 ranked team in the country. And Mickey looks forward to renewing that OU rivalry. Remember back when he played, it was Big 8. And a lot of times it was Nebraska-OU for that Big 8 championship. Very excited for the Oklahoma game. Very excited for this opportunity for him. and his family as well when it talks to this head coaching gig. It's bigger than him, but it's also an opportunity for him and his family. It's like a head coaching job interview for the next 9 games for him. When asked about the offensive staff, are they all on the same page? He said that the offensive staff is in a good place. And what he said, when he was asked what does he want the team to take from him, because a lot of times the team will take on the personality of the head coach. And Mickey said his personality and what he would like the kids to take from him as they're practicing, they're playing, they're representing this University of Nebraska football program. He said he's detail-oriented, high energy. And what he wants from the kids as well is that they leave it all out on the field in practice and in games. Now, personally, I am excited to see what Mickey can do. I'm excited to see how this team responds, okay? And remember, we do have 9 games, so this is going to be over the course of 9 games. I don't want to overreact to anything. You know, obviously the OU game is going to be a big game because it's OU. It's the first game with Mickey as the head coach. But again, 9 games. Let's see how it plays out over the course of the next couple of months. Do me a favor, like this video if you're excited, if you're optimistic, or even if you're just interested to see what happens. I would assume most people are interested. And leave a comment below. What are your thoughts on Mickey's comments? What are your thoughts on the Oklahoma game? What are your thoughts on the next couple of months of what you are looking to see? Go Big Red. Throw the bug. This show is brought to you by X-Cancer. Join the fight at xcancerstore.com and support your loved ones, your neighbors, and cancer fighters all over the world and help them gain access to revolutionary treatments. xcancerstore.com has a wide variety of t-shirts and merchandise supporting a wide variety of cancer battles so you can show off the colors that matter. Proceeds from each purchase not only help those at home, but also cancer fighters in Tanzania, Africa. Check them out at xcancerstore.com.